Okay, hello all. Enock, I'm going to turn it over to you. We've got 1 hour. People will continue to come in, and I'll let them in and unmute them as they come. But I want to make sure that you have the full hour to get done everything that you need to get done. So thank you so much for joining us.
Cool. If you can confirm, you can hear me, and then I can proceed.
Hear you loud and clear and see you loud and clear.
Good. Give me 1 minute, and we are good to go.
And I've placed in the chat the link that Enock sent out for anyone who still needs to create a user page. But otherwise follow along and you can do it in your time. Thanks.
Okay, let me share my screen and then we can proceed. Okay. All right. So welcome once again. We have just 1 hour, so I'll be quick and snappy. My name is Enoch, and today we'll be talking about Wikipedia and Wikimedia ecosystem, basically. With the Wikimedia Ghana user group and affiliate, and we promote free and open knowledge, of course, open data, and around Wikimedia Foundation projects. We'll tell you more about these projects and what they are after these slides. Today's session is going to be focused mainly on Wikipedia. You might have heard of Wikipedia or have used it in the 21st century, where we all search information every blessed day. This tells you that you have come across Wikipedia at a point in time on the web. Sometimes we confuse, or there's a misconception that the search engines or your favorite search engine is Wikipedia, because when you search, the results coming up, you mainly have something in common, which is there is definitely a link to an article, something on Wikipedia popping up on these search engines results that they give you for whatever you're searching for. But this is Wikipedia. This is how Wikipedia looks. You've seen some old-fashioned page with the logo to the upper right, left corner, and some box to the right and some text, and below you have some references. Before we get into the workshop and the hands-on, I just want to let us know what Wikipedia is not. Often at times, we see Wikipedia to be very active, and because it's really popular, notable, some of us from maybe the advertisement industry or PR might see Wikipedia as a platform or tool to leverage for advocacy, self-promotion, and all other stuff. So Wikipedia is not for public relations, it's not for marketing. One thing should be, it's not a blog. It's also not a mirror where you can put your website or your project links so that you can get a high traffic to your website. There are several stuff that Wikipedia is not, but these are basic ones that we cannot relate to very well. So thank you. And then if you have any question now, you can ask me, but from now on is going to be really interactive. So we go to wikipedia.org. When you go to wikipedia.org, you see Wikipedia in several languages, but we are focusing on English Wikipedia for today. And what we want to do for today is to look at basically how to get started, what you need, and then how you can take it up. So on the homepage of Wikipedia, you mainly focus on the reading panel. So for example, I come to Wikipedia and I want to find information about Ghana, or I search for Ghana somewhere, and the links on the first search page for these results comes to Wikipedia. It is obvious that as a reader, all your focus is going to be on this page here, article. You don't care about stock, you don't care about read, edit, history, and any other stuff. All you care about is this first paragraph, which we call the lead section in Wikipedia. So in contributing to Wikipedia, one basic thing you need is the interest. You need interest, or you need to have a passion for a certain topic. And in honor of the Women History Month, we want to focus on articles on women. And it is no doubt, it's nothing new that in the Wikimedia ecosystem, women participation is very less. And then articles on Wikipedia is also less towards comparing male and female ratio is super less as well. So for today, for this demonstration, I will try to create an article about one of Ghana's former first ladies who doesn't have an article. So when you look at this, we have a header here, and then the opening paragraph, some stuffs along the side. This might be complex and looking very difficult to understand, but we can pick it from. Is someone asking a question? Okay. Please, you can stop me anytime you need to ask a question, and then we can move on. We can go to learn to edit, which is right here. You will find it anytime you go to Wikipedia. But first of all, in order to contribute to Wikipedia, you need an account. You can contribute to Wikipedia anonymously. Say that you don't have to create an account, you can contribute without signing in. But it's not recommended. I wouldn't advise you to contribute to Wikipedia anonymously, because creating an account makes you be part of the community, and then there are other benefits which come to having an account, and also maybe the IP you are using. If you are contributing anonymously, it could be a school, library, or a computer on a network where the IP has been blacklisted, so you can't contribute. So it's recommended to create an account. So in creating an account, the link has been shared to the chat and shared already in the materials for this session. It's going to wikipedia.org. This is the English version. When your primary language is French, you can just try to change the language code at the beginning of the address. So let's say we go to wikipedia.org. This takes us to this will take us to a main page where we have the languages available. There are more. You can find more languages, but we are interested in English Wikipedia for now. So over here is create an account and log in. So if you don't have an account, please, it's easy to create. And this used to be, okay, this not used to be here. The first time I'm seeing this because I've created my account a long time ago. So your username will be public. So this is one thing you should know, that your username is going to be public. When you create an account on Wikipedia, your username is going to public. Because when I come and check who is writing what on an article, I can tell from the username. So there was also one video that's shared about what people prefer to use for their username. You can decide to use a pseudonym or just your real name. It depends on what. So yeah, your username, your password, confirm. Email is optional because you don't need an email address to contribute to Wiki. There's no phone number here. Privacy is a really high concern to the Wikimedia movement. So you need an email. If you have forgotten your password at a point in time and need to recover it, that is when an email will come handy. So I already have an account, so all I will do is I will log in. Good. When you log in, your interface might look a bit different, but we all share the same stuff in common. You have links to the left here, and then some links to the top of the page as well. So we go to first lady. of Ghana, probably. Good. Like I mentioned in the beginning, the first section, which is of most important to everyone, as a student or a researcher or somebody finding a quick information, when you need to just get a quick information from Wikipedia, the most important part to anyone is this section here, the lead section here, because you just read this, the reader might not care, but even though there might be useful information in other parts of the article, what you care most or we care most about is the first and the lead section. So that tell you when you are writing the lead section, you put much effort into it. Now, how do we get started to contributing to Wikipedia? We go back to learn to edit again. Now, to get started to contributing, there are two ways. First, we need an account, which is important. And then two, we need an editor. See an editor as a tool helping you to see it's at a word processor, maybe Microsoft Word, LibreOffice Writer, or Google Docs, where you type and then you have a letter or whatever you are trying to do. So in the beginning, we had source code editor, but now we have the visual editor. The source code editor is interesting, but looks annoying and frustrating sometimes to beginners. If you have no knowledge about maybe source codes or a little bit of computer program, but you don't need to know computer programming in order to use the source code editor. The visual editor is similar to your favorite word processor that you type, you press Control B and it makes the text bold for you. You do Control U, underline, and other stuffs. So on this page here from the home page or whichever article you are, you will see learn to edit. Learn to edit. So this takes you to this page. Once again, you have source, editor, and visual editor. Then they all show simple guides on editing and the other stuff. But first, we need to also know that Wikipedia is just not there for you to create any article or maybe I have a sister, yeah, in my home and I say, okay, my sister, I need to create an article for my sister on Wikipedia. It doesn't work that way. So there are policies and guidelines. These policies and guidelines, one of them which is really controversial or interesting is notability. The notability policy talks about how notable a feature, event, or someone is, especially when you're writing about living persons. Notability is really interesting to take into consideration. Now, what makes people or persons fail notability sometimes is because there is no written material, external sources from a reliable publisher. It could be a news publisher in your country or an international media house, or it's published somewhere which is reliable. It's not available. So going back to First Lady of Ghana, which we are using as our use case for today. So I am choosing the First Lady from 1979 to 89, which is Fulera Limann. So I just copy this, and first thing I need to do is to search for this using any search engine. I can use DuckDuckGo, or I can use any other search engine. Now, it's interesting to know that on the Akan Wikipedia, there is an article about the First Lady, but not on English or any other Wikipedia. Then we can see this is the husband who was the president, Fulera Limann, and then we found out, okay, Wikidata, which we might talk about some other day. There is information on Wikidata and tells that it's only on Akan Wikipedia, but not on the English Wikipedia. So if I need to create an article, so this is in Akan, I can't read Akan, but it looks like incomplete though, but it's fine. So I need to create an article for her. What do I first need to do? The first thing is external sources, which I described. So over here, we can see some interesting information popping up. We can look at maybe modern Ghana, and then we can look at Ghana Web. These are common publishing houses in Ghana. And then we can look at University of Ghana, also has an article which has a name in it. So if I try to find in this page, I see Dr. Fulera Limann and the wife, his name is popping up somewhere in this article. So how do I start creating an article? That is the big question. Your goal as if you are new to contributing to Wikipedia, your goal shouldn't be about starting a new article. Your goal should be about contributing and making existing articles better. And through this, I believe you get to learn more and understand how staffs work. So I am assuming that I am new. I don't understand how staffs work here. So what do I do? On the same First Lady's page, there are existing ones. So for example, I take a look at Fatia Nkrumah, which is the wife of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. So I can see that we have some sections, marriage, living in Ghana, and then death, and etc. So if I need to create for the other First Lady, which is Fulera, so all I do is I copy. On Wikipedia, you see blue and red links. The difference between blue and red links means the blue means this page exists on Wikipedia. The red means it does not exist. So if I click on this link now, it should start telling me to create an article. But if I click on this, it should tell me that this exists and show some information. But this is the way to go is I paste this here and then I can search. So in order to create an article, first search to see if this exists. If it doesn't exist, then there is an option that you may create the page Fulera Limann, but consider checking the search results before you start. So we can see this text is showing in Fulera Limann, is showing in First Lady of Ghana and Nana Kunedu Ajman. So I click on this link and see what happens. Good. Now, this page has been created before. So a page with this title has previously been moved or deleted. So it has been created before and then it was deleted. On Wikipedia, whatever you do is accessible to everyone. You remember when we were creating the account, I mentioned this in the username. So your username is public. So there is history, which we will look at and see what happens in the history. So there is history that tells you about every single change that has happened to an article, basically the life time, whatever has happened to this article. So it was created, but the page was deleted. The reason being, what was the reason? It was a speedy deletion. Maybe someone somewhere thought this is not notable, but to us in Ghana. So what is notable in a country or in a region might not be notable globally, but it doesn't mean that it fills the notability criteria. Like I mentioned, it all depends on having published external references about this subject. So I can just quickly see how do we do this in visual editor. Okay, because I'm not using visual editor often or using it at all, I don't know. Okay, good. So this is how to switch between visual. This is source code now. I want to switch to visual editor because I'm assuming most of us watching this are going to be new. Cool. So it starts giving me some guidelines, but I think, yeah, very important. So before creating, read your first article. This is not my first article. So if you are new, that's why I was recommending that don't create articles as a point of your starting, or like you are new and then you are starting and your focus is completely on creating articles. You should learn about improving new ones. There are a lot of stuff to do. It could be fixing grammar, copy editing, adding references. There are a lot of it to do. So this is important to take note of. But creating article, you need to provide references. And especially when you're writing about living people, is really controversial. Okay, so we are now in a word-like environment, which is the visual editor. Now, what do I write? I look at Fatia again and see what is here. So for the first paragraph, it says this was this. Okay, I see a trend. Let's look at another first lady. Can just go to, where is the first ladies of Ghana? Okay, first lady. Okay, so I will look at other first ladies as an example for inspiration. Good. So we can see that of Teresa Kufuor is wife of this, the second president of the Fourth Republic, and former First Lady of Ghana. She is retired nurse and midwife. Interesting looking at that. So there is a similar trend in the first paragraph for all of them when you take a closer look at all these First Ladies. So learning from this, I can write something similar. The text on Wikipedia is not copyrighted. So yeah, I can copy this, paste it, and then modify it. Also, you should note that when you're writing on Wikipedia, you are not allowed. It is not permitted to copy from news websites and put on Wikipedia. Why? Because the text on these news websites or wherever you're copying from is probably under 100% copyright, meaning when it's pasted here, the copyright is still attached to it. So we don't copy from other sources and then paste on Wikipedia, but you can copy from one Wikipedia article to another one and then modify or make improvements to it. So I can quickly go back to my article. So when there's a convention that when you are creating an article, it starts with the title, which is this same title to commence the article. So you can see that here, Teresa Kufuor, you see for Faustina, you see for the other one, and so on and so forth. So I will just copy this and then I'll paste it. Then they are both. I think she's still alive, but was the first, maybe, I don't know, someone, if somebody have seen a trend and would like to help me, you can unmute yourself and see what you think we can put here. Looking at these other ones from Teresa Kufuor to this and to the other ones. So it's more engaging that I am the only one talking. But if you don't want to talk, I can keep talking too.
You're the only one talking because you're sharing a lot of information, Enock, and it's really, really helpful. Thank you.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, then thanks for the green button. I can proceed. Okay, so in my own words and getting inspiration from that, so I just select this. I can make it bold. Yeah, bold. So the Control B and the stuffs you use in your word processing environment should work here. Yeah, so who was she or who is she? Yeah, so I can copy from here, probably, yes. So I copy from here and I paste here, then we can modify. The wife of, she was the wife of Ghana Limann. So I think we saw that somewhere here, good. This is Dr. Ghana Limann. This is the name. I'm not copying the text from University of Ghana. So I can go to Ghana Limann. This is the husband. So I can go back here and I paste here. Was it the Second Republic? I can't tell. I don't know. So what I will do is from Ghana Limann's page, I can get which republic he was. So diplomat and served, blah, blah, blah. Which republic? I can Control F, republic. Okay, he was he was only president of Ghana's Third Republic. So meaning the wife was the first lady for the Third Republic. So in the Third Republic of Ghana, and okay, we don't know this. I think after this is enough. Good. What else can we add? So we need references. Those are important steps. So we need references. We need maybe an image, but we don't have an image. So how do we insert references or citations? Where is it written outside Wikipedia that she was the first lady of the Third Republic and wife of Ghana Limann? I believe from the University of Ghana publication here, there should be an information on wife. So I just try to search for useful information. Yeah. So present at the ceremony was Mrs. Fulera Limann, wife of the late president. So this is University of Ghana, reliable source. So all I do is I copy the address from here. I go to my article, this page. At the end of this sentence, I do cite, and there is automatic, manual, and reuse. So automatic means when I paste the address here and I click generate, it should fetch for me the title, the date it was retrieved, and some other useful information. If you have used Zotero, for those into research and academic, Zotero is an open source reference management system where you can use to have a library. This is powered by it, and that's what open source can do. So I insert this and right away there. What else do I need? Okay, I want to be able to link to Ghana Limann because this is on Wikipedia. I can link. So on Wikipedia pages, we can cross link. Like I mentioned, if the link is red, it means it does not exist. But when the link is blue, it means this page exists on Wikipedia. So I can now select this. And then as you see it in your favorite word processor, Control K should work. When I click this, it searches Wikipedia to see if this exists and is the same. And I add this. Good. What next can we do? There are certain things I can add, maybe references and categories. Those are sub information, useful informations that articles need to be organized and other stuff. But basically, getting started, your focus is on the content, improving it. So I think for this first few minutes, we focus on content. Then I can try to publish this. Let's see what happens. So publish, good. In order to publish your changes, anytime you type something on Wikipedia, you click the edit and then start typing. In order to make it permanent or active for someone visiting the page to see, you need to publish it. It's like saving your document. Then in this box here, we need an edit summary. This just describes, gives a brief description of what you have done. Sometimes it could be you have copy edited, you added a reference, if it's a typo, or you created an article. So this I can just say created new article. Yeah, just and then I publish. This is capitalized, maybe I don't know. Good. Yeah. Nice. So this has been published on Wikipedia, but because I'm really not good at visual editor or source editor is something we should all know as well. That was starting from visual editor. I will go into visual, the source editor, so we can see what is behind the source editor. Now, you should also know that this is a demonstration. After this session, I'll try to maybe improve this and then add more references. When you are creating an article for a living person or person, persons need at least a minimum of 5 references. So this can be expanded. This is a stub. I will consider this as a stub. A stub is a kind of article on Wikipedia that is short and will need a future improvement, STUB. So when we go to history, which we don't look at as readers of Wikipedia, we can see now that this is the comments, the edit summary I put in that box, and this was today's day is the time and my username and other stuff. And there's a tag here that says visual editor, meaning I use visual editor to create it. So in order to use the source editor, I just go to edit source, or from visual editing mode, when you click the pencil here and go to source edit, it switches over to the source editor. Now this is how the source editor looks. It's not looking beautiful at all, but this is where the power lies. And if you need to do a lot of advanced and complicated stuffs, I will always recommend visual editor any day. But if you just need to modify a typo, add a new section, add a new comment or something, you can use the visual editor. By now, I'm sure everyone can tell that on Wikipedia, we have 2 types of editors, visual and the source editor. With the source editor, you get to see a lot of text. Is plain text. You don't see Control B doesn't work here. When you do that, you don't see the effect. But this bold and co puts certain characters around the text that when you show preview, displays what they are supposed to mean. So I will use this opportunity to add a section. So in order to add a section, advanced, so we have heading. So I want to add a references section, because when you go to Wikipedia articles, normally you scroll to the bottom, you are seeing references, and then you are seeing this is a Ghanaian biography tab. Consider expanding it and some other stuff. Excuse me. When I click edit source here, I can see what is behind it as well. You can see it's a lot of text, and I can see how this was made possible from other articles. That's why I was saying that when you start contributing to Wikipedia, your focus shouldn't be on creating new articles, because it takes a step to get to creating new articles, improve existing articles, and also have an interest. You should be interested in a topic. If you're not interested in a topic, you can't really contribute to it. I'm interested in biographies, so I'm interested in writing about women footballers, women athletes. That is how come you can write about a specific topic. Good. So I've seen what is working here. I can copy this, or I can just copy all this and go back to my references. Then I paste this here. These are categories. This might not be of interest to us now, but this lady falls within the category First Ladies in Ghana. We don't know. This is copying from somewhere. And then, good. Let's show preview and see how this looks like now. So we can see this small Ghana flag, some text. We call this template. This any stuff you see within two curly braces is a template. And then these are links like we did for Hilal Limann in the other visual editor. We can now see how it works here. So there is, from the help page here, learn to edit. There is more information on each of them. So editing, references, images, tables, these are basic components of an article, because if you want to create, you edit, and of course you need references, and sometimes you have images to insert. We will talk quickly about images before we go. So these I added the references, and it's a level 2 heading. So the title of each page is a level 1 heading. So if I need another section here, maybe early life, I create a section 2 heading. All I do is select and go to heading level 2, and you see 2 equal to signs both sides. And then when I show preview, it gives me a level 2 heading with beautiful line beneath it. It's all about preference and what works for you. But as a recommendation, you should also look at how this SOX editor works. So I will save this, and then we can continue. We added a reference section. So this is a minor edit. You could see there are 2 checkboxes here. There is minor edit. This is like adding no, you're not changing the content of the page relevantly. Probably you are changing an is, which was written SI to IS, and then watch this page, meaning you want to keep an eye on this page, so that if there are changes on this page, you will see them in your watch list, and then you publish changes. And now we see how this article looks. So when I go to view history, we can now see there have been 2 changes. The one I did recently, which I started from visual editor, and then I switched to source editor. So depending on whatever you do, there is a meta tag, meta information that provides useful details as well. Let's go back to the article, and the categories here, the First Lady stuff is added here. I will pause here for any question before we move on. Catherine? Okay. I will keep going. All right. Yeah.
No, I think it's great. Anybody else feel free also to jump in with a question. I'm so surprised that she didn't have a page already. That really just shows that there's a lot of work still to be done in Wikipedia. There are a lot of gaps on women in Wikipedia.
Absolutely. There's a lot of work to be done, and a lot of contributors are needed. We have a lot of readers, of course. Everyone reads, but just a few contribute. That is why we are doing this, and as well.
Yeah. So it's really, go ahead.
Sorry, I was late, and I apologize for that. I had some meetings. So when looking at this, have you discussed how to maybe integrate OER2Go or some of the open source documents which are managed by the UN?
If you can come again with a question, I didn't get it.
So the question is how to integrate OER2Go, which is a UN repository of documents and media. Some of it are video, but which are Creative Commons, so they're not. So if you go to oer2go.org, I think is the site, That's OER, Oscar Echo Romeo number 2.
So I would say there have been a couple of partnerships in the movement globally, not just in Ghana, with UN and UNESCO, because these documents are in Creative Commons licenses. They are compatible with content on Wikipedia. One is Wikimedia Commons, which is one of our projects, Wikimedia Foundation projects. Wikimedia Commons has now, as I speak, it's 69 million media files. This is including videos, all from videos or images and so on. You can see my virtual background. This is from last year's picture of the year. So on Wikimedia Commons, most images you see on Wikipedia are stored on Wikimedia Commons, and all these images under Creative Commons or in the public domain. And as you mentioned, there have been content donation from UNESCO and other organizations as well. So if the text or the content is in a compatible license, it can be integrated, of course, always. And universities have stuff that they are issuing or releasing. Wikipedia Library Project and I don't know, I can just search quickly to show an example. UNESCO Wikimedia Commons.
But specifically OER to go. Do you know about that?
I have no.
Peter, are you from OER to go?
No, I'm not. No. No. I'm Microsoft. Sorry. I'm just doing research into this open source content that can be distributed. That's all.
Yeah, I have I can't really tell, but there should be something. I can't say specifically. I have a good knowledge of this.
Okay.
Yeah. And Wikimedia Commons, so checking out is an interesting thing. Thank you. Any question? Then we can continue to go. So one other.
I think it's a really interesting question. Sorry, Enock.
No.
But I like this the theme of the question of you work a lot on open source and open source research, and there's a lot of work around the world and around the web, of course, on how the open source community can share resources, and where you vet which has the best or the most up-to-date information. So whether it's the UN or whether it's Wikipedia or whether it's others, and how to make that information shared so that more can see it. And I know that you're interested in like Wikidata, so how Wikidata can be a source for better open data. So I think it's definitely important to know about all the other repositories and that kind of whichever one you use, whichever one any of us use the most. The point is not just use it, but to figure out how to contribute to it and share it out.
And also a lot of this depends on you having an internet connection, and half the world doesn't have an internet connection, right? And I know a lot of Wikipedia can be taken offline into a thumb drive, and what other sources are like that, so that we can empower people who are not connected, right, with open source data.
My colleague Justice is here. I don't know if I put him on the spot, but the Kiwix project and Wikipedia in a box is one interesting project which has taken Wikipedia offline and then with some capabilities to even contribute offline. Of course, hardware and access issues cannot be neglected. It depends on where in the world this is happening. So in each country or in countries, of course, in Ghana, we have a couple of affiliates, 3 or 4 of them, each working in the same direction to make knowledge and information accessible to even the remotest persons with this kind of tool. So I don't know, Justice, if you want to share something on Kiwix or how using Wikipedia contributing offline.
Yeah, so I think there was a program where they put Wikipedia on the pen drive and you can just install it on your desktop and it works. Um, I think it was part of the Kiwix program, but Kiwix was a box one. But this one was from, I think, a Swedish person also. But it was on the pen drive. And I had one of the pen drive that I installed in a school in Agbogblosh in Ghana. So yeah, sorry for my noise. I'm in a restaurant. That's why.
Thank you for contributing. So yeah, there are interesting projects going on in the community, but maybe I might not have idea about all of them. So yeah, thank you. Any further question? Any misunderstanding so far? Or is it okay? Are we able to contribute to Wikipedia, or try to, if you are reading and then you see a mistake, something that is needs to be corrected, maybe a typographical error, are you confident enough to say, okay, from today's session, I know I can click a button here and then modify this? Yeah, you should get something from this section. You shouldn't just be here for being sake, but I believe by the time you go, we close, you should be able to modify something if it happens that you are reading a content and you find a typography, which is a basic one. We come like, oh, Wikipedia spelled this wrong. Wikipedia is not a person, it's you and I as well. Good. So yeah, basically that I'll go over this again. The life span, or how the life of an article works, is created, people contribute to it and make it better. So this, as I said, is incomplete now. Is really incomplete, because in order for an article to stand, it needs a minimum of 5 references, 5 of these. And there are exceptions. Exceptions are institutions, educational institutions, or places are also exceptions as well in some cases. We also need to learn from other similar articles. So as you can see, I was learning interactively from the other first ladies. So there is education. So now I can research, I can find out on education of this we just created. I can add a session, and then with that I could get more references. And one thing that we should also note is about finding these references. Content from Facebook or maybe Twitter sometimes used. It depends on how, maybe if the person is tweeting, there is an official account, I think at the point in time, some could be used, but it's generally not advisable to use content from someone's opinion blog as a reference. We can't have original research on Wikipedia as well. I can't put here the date of birth without knowing where is it published. When I check the other ones, with I think from this first one, there should be an information on this that talks about maybe the date of birth. Generally, that is how it should be. That the first paragraph is having a reference in academics. Maybe it should be here to point, but this first paragraph now is not having a reference. This looks original research. It doesn't make information here credible, because where can I find out that she lived between these years? So it's important to have content published outside Wikipedia that can be used for references. And this is one big issue on our continent sometimes, or somewhere, some parts of the continent. And then I think some years ago, there was this oral Wikipedia project to collect information and document it in an oral form where they can be cited. So it's an interesting project. I can't tell how it has gone, but I came across that which was run by Wikimedia from Namibia as well. Good. I think for now, I'll welcome more questions because basically the process of doing this is when you come, you need an account. Of course, I am signing and these contributions I do is attributed to my username. And that is one benefit. The other benefits is not for you to be paid though. Contributing to Wikipedia is not paid. You should know. But the Wikimedia Foundation, through its affiliates, supports people with internet access and sometimes, hardware and other staffs which need to get the job running as well. Yeah, I think this looks enough to me, but if you want me to talk about something else, please feel free to unmute yourself and let's talk. Thank you.
Another question I have is, as you mentioned about Ghana, many people, although they learn English, really Tree and Tree Fanti are the primary languages. So are there sections which are just devoted to content in that language? And are there any translation or some type of services that can show English content in that language?
Thanks for the question. It's true that English is spoken in Ghana, but people's primary language, they have a mother tongue, everyone do. But the official language which is used for transactions and government business in Ghana is English as well. Not that I've conducted a research, but it's general that most people are not reading content in their local language. Of course, both the Wikimedia user group in Ghana and the other affiliates have organized sessions on contributing to Wikipedia in the local language. So you see, we have Wikipedia in Ewe, probably, yeah. We have in Akan, which pop up when I was searching for this article, Fulera's article. It was created in Akan, but not in any other language on Wikipedia. So I could see that this was just a template the person was putting over here. It talks about the year of birth, but not there. So yeah, there is some effort. There is effort on contributing to local content, but generally people are not ready to read because you are not evaluated on based in Akan or in English or in Chi or Fanti in school, even though it's part of Ghanaian languages that we learn in school, in primary or high school and so forth. But generally, that is not what it is on the ground. So it's English, but there is effort to make these languages stay and encourage people to read in it. Yeah. I hope I've been able to answer your question. If not, please.
No, thank you.
Yeah, it's really helpful. And also just the bit that I am aware of is that each kind of language in Wikipedia actually has kind of a different governance. And so they're almost like separate kinds of wikis. I mean, the editing is the same, but absolutely if there's an interest in adding more content in mother tongues or in other languages in general, that's always welcomed, just to preserve more content and different ways of documenting. So I guess to try to segue that to you're one of the local leads in Ghana for the Wikimedia community. So do you have recommendations of how anyone on this call or anyone who's viewing this webinar later should get involved with their local chapter?
Yeah, depending on, not sure everyone here is from Ghana. So
No.
there are user groups in each country. When we go to, you can just, Meta is the manual for the Wikimedia movement. When you go to meta.wikimedia.org, or you can just search for Wikimedia and then your country name. If there is a user group in your country, definitely should pop up. In Ghana, yeah, Wikimedia Ghana user group, you can get in touch with us. It's wmgh.org. In Uganda, there's a user group, in Nigeria as well, which I'm aware of, South Africa, a lot of Northern Africa countries, East Africa as well. So yeah, just search for it, or we have a mailing list. I think it's list.wikimedia. You can just search for the the mailing list here. Yeah, all should be here based on country and based on specific topics as well. So this is a good page to start from, or you can get in touch with the African Wikimedians mailing list, which will help you find a local one affiliate or association when it exists. So with this, you subscribe and send a message to this list that, okay, I'm looking for Wikimedians in Togo, and somebody should definitely get in touch with you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Enock. Okay, so I know that we just have a few quick minutes left if any want to jump in and share. This Saturday, of course, is International Open Data Day. And I know that we will be hosting a lot of Wikipedia edits, and Monday, the 8th, is International Women's Day, where there will be a big push for edits on women. So I don't know, Jean, can I put you on the spot? Would you be able to speak about the work there?
Sure, of course. So as Kat said, March 8th, we'll be launching, as some others are too, a Wikithon throughout the rest of the month of March, encouraging women and men and those who identify as other to be able to update articles in Wikipedia, add articles. I know Enock just told us to be careful as we start to do that, but adding articles for women who are not represented there, who should be, particularly in the areas of science, technology, engineering, and math, but broadly across a wide variety of fields. It turns out that 90% of the people who edit and write on Wikipedia are men. Women are historically and notoriously underrepresented, and the articles that they do have tend to be focused on the accomplishments of their spouse. So even the example Enock just gave, where a first lady is represented, often the article that does exist about her will be talking about how she supported her husband as opposed to her own accomplishments. So we'd like to shift that up and make sure that that women are more equitably represented on Wikipedia. It's a place where young children go and people go to find representation and understand some context around topics that they're investigating. And we just want that first place to be one which is open and inclusive. So we're encouraging folks to build on the training of today, be brave and go in, add information about a woman who inspires you, and to be able to be part of the global effort underway this month.
Great, thank you. And thank you to Geoffrey Catraga, who's just shared a kickoff launch on International Women's, on reducing the gender gap on Wikipedia. So that's another launch event. Jean, if people want to join in, can they just go to Open Data Collaboratives? Are there other spaces where they can learn more about the month-long push that you're speaking of?
Sure. So Open Data Collaboratives will, we can post on our page, and that will also, it's also being sponsored by Time's Up Tech. Time's Up is a global association that works to help women in the workplace achieve equity, safety, and dignity. And we're partnering together to be able to launch this event.
Great. All right. Okay, well, thank you all. We're at time. So sorry to say that we'll have to jump off now, but if anybody else wants very quickly to share something that they're working on, a question that they have, they're welcome. And otherwise, please send any links that you have, and we're happy to share them out afterward. Okay. Okay, and I'm going to just say thank you so much to Enock. That was such a great, very, very efficient in 1 hour to be able to go over that demonstration. And I think that I learned a lot, and I hope that that everybody feels inspired and knowledgeable and confident to go and add more to Wikipedia. So thank you so much.
welcome, and thank you. Let the force be with everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ciao.